Hey guys, Hailey Lain aka Key Black here, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Cuff. We're going to kind of continue along with the Skyrim theme from the last couple of episodes, and today I've invited my buddy Andrew Jones.
Hello everybody.
And you might recognize Andrew's work as a voice actor. He played Henry in the Welcome Home Remaster, as well as Bendy the Little Demon in several of the promo small animations.
It's like I can touch you!
Hey, you sound kind of familiar.
This ain't gonna be awkward at all.
You guys also might recognize Andrew's voice work from you did a Bonnie voice acting that went pretty viral recently, didn't you?
Yes, I did, and it's gotten so viral to the point that people are actually confusing it with audio within the video game, and I just want to make something very perfectly clear. Guys, Steel Wool Studio did not hire me for that part.
But maybe they should.
Absolutely, they should have. It was the first time that I ever used that, like, animatronic, like, stuttering voice ever implemented in a video before, so I was really proud of how that turned out.
Yeah, it turned out really well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. But yeah, so Andrew and I have been talking about Skyrim a lot lately, and I kind of wanted to chit-chat with you a little bit about some of the points of the game that struck me the most. I feel like the best one to start with is literally just the start of the game, where it just kind of throws you in the whole, you're finally awake, you know, you're suddenly in this situation.
Hey, you're finally awake.
Exactly, yeah.
It's already, like, such a meme to this point that literally anyone who says, hey, you, in, like, that monotone kind of structure immediately knows what meme you're about to make.
Yes.
It's just so recognizable.
Exactly. It's like the slow fade in from black. And, like, well, the meme, too. Like, what I love about the opening so much is that it really does throw you right into it. You really don't need to know any of the lore from any of the previous games. And it does such a good job of just setting up exactly as much as you need to understand the situation you're in, and then you can kind of go from there and you're not completely lost, you're just lost enough.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's not just Skyrim that actually does it. Ever since the third installment of the series, Morrowind, it kind of just throws you into the world like, hey, alright, this is the game you're playing, you are a prisoner either recently escaping or being let go from prison. The world is your oyster, and the lore is there if you want to look at it.
So it's kind of become a tradition of the franchise. I love that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because to me, one of the most fun things in the game was like, the first time I tried playing it, I tried not to project too much on my character, but that's completely impossible. And every time since then, it's basically just been the same thing of, I'm just gonna play this character as though he's as clueless about the situation as I am.
Oh yeah, I mean, essentially that's pretty much how every player who goes into a Elder Scrolls game essentially starts off, really.
Yeah, and the way that it sets it up, it's like every mystery that you encounter in the game is not just like a random throwaway, you know, here's another thing that you can do. It's actually like, it feels like it belongs in the world. And that goes for the main plot points too. Like, the game only gives you enough breadcrumbs to sort of start to piece it together by yourself. And like, there's more if you want it, but you don't need the whole thing to get the meat of it.
Oh yeah, every kind of like side quest or like random encounter, as they're called in the game, is very much like that. For example, there is this old woman that is living in a shack inside the Rift, the essential area that borders the hold of Riften, right? So she pretty much like introduces herself as like just an old woman living in a cottage practicing alchemy, like practicing medicine and stuff like that. If you have a high enough sneak level, you can actually sneak into her basement and find out that she is a witch that frequently makes dealings with the Forsworn. And she is looking to make herself a hag raven.
Oh my god, I forgot that part. I remember her being there. I just remember that she always got hostile when I started going through her stuff.
She only ever gets hostile when you go into the hatch beneath her bed.
Yeah, well, I've definitely done that, so that explains that.
Yep.
I love that. Like, the most inconspicuous characters always have like the darkest stuff behind them. Like when you start encountering characters that have done like deals with the Daedra. I've never played a game like this before, so a lot of this stuff was like really new to me, gameplay-wise and plot-wise. So when you start getting into the creepy levels of what is that one location where it's the Vigilant of Stendar, and he's looking at this haunted house, and he asks you to go in with him.
Markarth.
That's it. It's Markarth. You know the quest I'm talking about too, right?
Yes, absolutely. I know that
man.
quest.
What was he? Molag Bal in that one?
Correct.
Yeah, Molag Bal, and then Hermaeus Mora when you encounter him up north. With the one guy who wants the Necronomicon, basically.
Septimus Cygnus.
Yeah, and then you turn around and there's this massive tentacles and eyeballs. Just like,
oh,
that doesn't look like anything else in the game. What the hell is that?
I didn't know I was in the dark web.
Oh my god. And then there's, of course, there's that gate of oblivion down in, like, I think the southeastern part of the map. I forget exactly where, but, like, everybody in the game mentions the Oblivion Crisis in Skyrim, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, you mentioned before, it's basically the events of the previous game. Like, what's the short and dirty version of that?
So, the Oblivion Crisis is essentially what happens when Hell on Earth starts. The only protection aura that was guarding the realm of the living from the realm of the damned was severed when the Emperor was killed. When the Emperor was killed and no other of his heirs were able to take the throne at the time, Hell literally broke loose, and these Oblivion gates started showing up all over Tamriel, but not only Tamriel, but in other continents on the planet as well. It was literally Hell cometh on Earth.
It's the end of the world as you know it.
As we know it. Yeah,
I love
exactly.
it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Because there's this really cool moment in that quest where you failed to stop the guy from opening up the Oblivion Gate, but then the Vigilants of Stendarr all bust in and they ransack the place, like, all right, this place is under our protection now, we're taking over from here. And it's like, I want to join your guys' faction. You guys are cool.
That's why the modding community exists.
Man, yeah, like the amount of love that goes into the modding of this game is
so
insane.
much. Like it's almost an infinite amount of love that goes into these games, especially the modding community as well. A lot of the modding, in fact, Bethesda actually partnered with a bunch of very popular mod creators to actually make what is called the Creation Club, which a lot of people do not like because they are paying for mods that should be free, essentially.
I see.
Yeah, but Bethesda is well educated enough to know that modifications to a video game are what make a good game great.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the community exists for a reason. The base game is fantastic, and, if the fandom hasn't died, the game hasn't died. There was one more thing I wanted to ask and talk about while I've still got you here. The mystery of the Elder Scrolls themselves, because I've never played any of the other Elder Scrolls games. I've only played Skyrim, and even though the game is called Elder Scrolls Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls themselves aren't, like, the central plot point. They serve as, like, a pivotal plot device, sure, but it's not like this is the grand mystery that drives the plot. It's just the grand mystery that's in the background. And
correct.
What are they? Are they like the Bible in the game, or like what is it?
I would say no. I would have to say no.
Okay.
So they are essentially what they work at in as far as mechanics go. They work as essentially MacGuffins for the entire story of Elder Scroll in a as a plot device.
Okay.
But within the lore of the Elder Scrolls, they are the literal building documents of the universe, but that was written by the gods.
Right.
So
okay, so it's literally like, okay, here let's strip a piece of code from the wall of the universe and put it on a scroll.
That's a perfect way of putting it. They are literally fragments of the code of the game that actually made it within the game itself.
That makes it sound kind of meta. I love that.
It is extremely meta.
Skyrim, the original Undertale.
Da-da-da-da.
The RPG where nobody has to die except for the dragons.
Oh god, after you beat Alduin, the next boss is Sans.
I'd play that mod. I'd play the hell out of that mod.
The shit out of that mod.
Oh my god.
Shitting me? Oh man.
Well, on that note, I think that's probably a good place to stop. Andrew, thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
And as well, thank you for re-inspiring me to want to go back and play Skyrim for sure.
Yes, more scrim.
More scrim.
Scrim.
Well, guys, thanks again for listening and for watching, and I will see you in the next Off the Cuff episode.
Peace out.